Greetings everyone, my name is Jonathan Bailey from the site Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com, and today we're bringing back the shortly lived, but at least somewhat well-loved 7 and 7 column. Now, what is the 7 and 7 column, you ask? Well, the idea behind this column is I want to respect your time. You're a busy person, you want to learn about copyright news and get up to date on what's been going on in the past week, but you don't want to spend hours and hours going through the stories like some people do. No one in particular. But yeah, you want to get it quick. You want to get it fast. You want to get it lean. So what we do is we cover 7 copyright stories in, ding, 7 minutes. The basic premise of this column is this. When I start talking copyrighty style news, this countdown will begin. And it will stop either when A, I have finished covering all 7 stories I intend to cover, show notes in the comments, or also possible when I run out of time and then have to do a second take. Now, real quick, this is obviously just going to be a quick breeze through of the basic facts of these stories. Please do not expect any detailed commentary or anything like that. If you do want that, on this very channel, please feel free to subscribe. I do a regular podcast with attorney Evan Sherez called the Copyright 2.0 Show. We will cover many of these stories, plus others possibly, and you'll get all the commentary and oogly googliness that you want. Also, I have the site Plagiarism Today, where I also talk about many of these types of things, so feel free to check that out and see if it is of interest to you. On that note, though, time's a wasting, and I want to respect it, like I said, so we will begin now. Alright, our first story this week comes from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, as the court has upheld lower court decisions about the fate of Superman, having absolutely nothing to do with Doomsday or Lex Luthor or anything like that. Long story short, the heirs to Jerry Siegel and Joseph Shuster, the 2 original creators of Superman, engaged in a copyright termination battle over the character. Basically, copyright termination allows original creators to reclaim rights they licensed or sold off after a certain number of years. Now, in the case of the widow of Jerry Siegel, she actually entered into an agreement with Warner Brothers and DC Comics in 2001, but almost immediately tried to rescind it. Well, now the courts have upheld that original settlement as being valid and are not letting her go back. And since copyright termination is based upon the years since the license was granted, 2001 is when the clock starts, and she's got to wait a while before she will ever be able to attempt another copyright termination. This pretty much firmly entrenches the rights of Superman with DC and Warner Brothers for the foreseeable future, so now all Superman has to worry about is Batman. Our next story this week focuses on Dish Network and Fox. Fox, the broadcaster, sued Dish Network after Dish Network released the Auto Hop feature, which allows users of the little DVR to trivially skip commercials. Well, Fox considered that to be a copyright infringement, brought a suit, and then tacked on another element to it when they focused on the Dish Anywhere service, which allows Dish Network users to receive their broadcast on tablets, phones, and computers and elsewhere. Well, the courts actually ruled that both Dish Anywhere and Auto Hop were not copyright infringing, but did rule that there might be a contractual issue between Fox and Dish, basically saying that these services might break some agreements between the two. That shifted it more to contract law, and that case was still being litigated, but now the two have reached a settlement. Details are unknown, but the one detail we do have is kind of important, which is that Fox programming will be unavailable to be auto-hopped until a week after their air date. So if you wish to skip commercials on Fox programming, right after it airs, you'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Moving along to the end of the trilogy of ending stories we have this week, we talk about Dallas Buyers Club in Australia. They had attempted to take action against various people pirating the film in that country. They had sought to force ISPs to turn over the names, address, and other information of suspected pirates, and initially it looked like the courts were going to be cool with that. But then the courts started placing serious restrictions on it, including limiting what they could say, how much they could claim in damages, and requiring a very large bond to move forward with it. And now Dallas Buyers Club LLC, the company that holds the rights to the film, has basically decided it's not worth it, stopped throwing good money after bad, and is exiting Australia, assumedly to focus on other countries where they have similar efforts ongoing. In a story that has been making waves all over the literary world, author Cassandra Clare, I really don't know, Clare has been sued by another successful author, Sherilyn Kenyon. Now, Clare wrote the series Shadowhunters, which has been made into a TV series, or so I'm being told. I don't watch enough TV either. I just do copyright. Now Claire, but the basic accusation here is this, that Claire's Shadowhunter series violates Kenyon's Dark Hunter series, and the lawsuit lists a whole bunch of things, including similar characters, similar concepts, similar plots, blah blah blah. And it also alludes to, though it doesn't actually provide the text of, an agreement between Kenyon and Claire, in which Claire agreed to minimize the use of the Shadowhunters name, agreeing that it was confusing with Dark Hunters, but then supposedly Claire went on and just made it a title, and it became a TV series and a big deal. So, long and short of this one is that Kenyon has sued Claire for copyright infringement. Claire's attorney has already hit back in a very, very fast response and has said that there is no copyrightable content at issue here, there was no agreement, and there is no evidence of plagiarism, so please dismiss this lawsuit. Next up, the software cracking group 3DM, famous for their cracking of PC games, has announced a one-year hiatus. They are taking some time off. They say it is to see how their departure from the field will impact PC game sales, but it comes at an awkward time because they've been struggling lately to crack the de novo DRM, which is placed on Just Cause 3. So far, Just Cause 3 was released on December 1st, 2015. I'm recording this on Friday the 12th of February, 2016. It still is not available on pirate sites. Now, they're claiming that they've actually cracked de novo and that they're just doing this out of the goodness of their hearts or their own curiosity, and that the frustrations aren't the issue, even though they had warned that in a few years' time, cracked games could be a thing of the past. But as 3DM curtails back a little bit, Pirate Bay has added a new feature, specifically in-site streaming. If you go to the Pirate Bay, in addition to the option to get the torrent, you have the option to stream it. If it is a video torrent, meaning a TV show or a movie, you can trivially stream it in your browser through a Torrents Time plugin. Now, there have been some security concerns about Torrents Time, and the developers behind it have said they've made some adjustments, but a lot of people still question it, especially since it is partnered with a VPN service that displays ads when you use it. Now, long and short of it is, many have said this has turned the Pirate Bay into the largest streaming site in the world, and it may well be true, but I think Netflix still does far, far more in traffic. Finally, and the story that kind of rocked the VPN world a little bit here, PayPal has blocked access to its service, the payment provider PayPal, to Unotelly, a smart DNS and VPN provider. Unotelly had routinely and consistently promoted its VPN service as a means for circumventing geo-blocks. PayPal has a long-standing policy against using its payment service for copyright infringing purposes, and as a result of that, PayPal has removed it. Now, a lot of people are billing this as PayPal taking a stand against VPNs and kicking VPNs off the service. That doesn't appear to be the case at this time. Unotelly seems to be the first of its kind, and it was one of the most aggressive about promoting it as a geo-blocking service. As a result, I don't think yet this is part of a larger deal, but we shall see. Who knows? Only the PayPal knows. And as you can see, we are wrapping up here. We got about 14 seconds left. Not too shabby. Rather happy with how that went. On that note, if you have copyright-related questions, I am not an attorney, but I might be able to take some of them up on this column. Looking to do some more YouTube-y stuff. Always appreciate that. Like I said, subscribe for both more 7 and 7s, as well as Copyright 2.0 shows, and other random bits of YouTube goodness from time to time, I am sure. But on that note, everyone, thank you very much for joining me. And until next time, this is Jonathan Bailey, signing off.